Do you recognize that noise? That's the sound that Jonathan Larson apparently heard constantly for a number of years. He says that he heard it as time inched closer to his 30th birthday, but I'm convinced that he heard that noise for most of his adult life. You know, that noise that represents the feeling of, what am I doing with my life? Is there something I should be doing more of? Why haven't I reached out to this person in a while? I should really be working right now instead of being lazy or watching TV. What if I never make it in life? When's the last time I ate? When's the last time I showered? When's the last time I felt happy?
I just want it to stop.
And then it suddenly stops. For a brief moment where you feel like your life is in order, that annoying, anxiety-inducing ticking sound finally stops. And it's pure bliss. For a second, of course, after which the ticking starts again and you start to ask yourself, things are going too well, why is that? Did I cause the ticking sound to come back? Is there something or someone in my life directly causing that ticking sound? Is there someone who can take away that ticking sound? You ask yourself all of these questions until you finally tell yourself that this is enough. Stop it! That's Jonathan Larson. Or I guess my perception of Jonathan Larson. The man who struggled to reconcile with the fact that he was turning 30 and hadn't, in his eyes, done anything remotely meaningful yet. He was a man who longed for Broadway. He wanted to upset the status quo and become a legend in crafting musicals like his idol Stephen Sondheim, and he wanted to do it all by the time he turned 30. And yet, he hadn't. And that's where Tick Tick Boom starts. You see, one of the most inspiring things you'll see in this world is the journey of an artist. Someone who's lived a rags to riches life. Someone who, through every obstacle, managed to come out on top. Someone who beat the naysayers and fulfilled their dream. That's a story that'll make anyone smile. And Tick Tick Boom isn't that story, actually. Well, sort of. This film, directed by the great Lin-Manuel Miranda, aims to tell the story of Jonathan Larson, specifically his life right before Rent hit Broadway and before his tragic passing in 1996. This is a man who wants it all and will do anything to achieve it. Now on the surface, this seems like it fits the mold of that inspiring journey I spoke of earlier, but in fact, it isn't. This isn't a romanticized journey of an artist hitting it big. Instead, it gets into the nitty-gritty of what Larson had to go through to get his music heard. The pain, the suffering, the anxiety of it all, as well as explore the faults that Larson had while trying to hone his craft. Tick Tick Boom is the de-romanticizing of the journey of an artist, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. So, without further ado, my name is Nick Aakash. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And this week, we're diving deep into Tick Tick Boom.
Hello. Hi. Welcome. I'm Jonathan Larson.
Alright, before we actually kick this off, I think this is a good time to put a bit of a disclaimer on this video. Before this film, I actually knew nothing about Jonathan Larson. Aside from him being the creator of Rent, I knew nothing about this man's life. Hell, the only reason I actually watched this film is because my sister, who is a big fan of Larson, convinced me to watch it with her. Now I bring this up because over the course of the film's first act, everything seems standard. Jonathan Larson is a struggling artist who yearns to be Broadway's next Stephen Sondheim. Director Lin-Manuel Miranda and screenwriter Stephen Levinson spend the first half hour or so of this movie endearing us to Jonathan, showing us where he lives, his dedication to his craft, how he is with his friends, and how he is with his girlfriend, Susan. He's clearly a likable guy, so it's not hard to make your audience care for Larson. However, while Miranda and Levinson are doing this on the surface, the underlying aspect of this, at least from my point of view, is to make the audience let their guard down. For this section of the film, everything is treated with a slightly more upbeat tone, evidenced by the songs 3090 and Boho Days. The anxiety to create something is there, but it's done in a way where you can almost brush it off. Nothing is that serious yet. Larson is the guy who's chasing his dream, living a somewhat romanticized life as a struggling artist, and seems to be, at least relatively, happy. And of course, because of all this, my guard was let down, which leads me to the reason why I wrote this essay in the first place. Now at 34.5 minutes in, the story makes a necessary switch in tone. Susan, who previously told Jonathan about an amazing job offer that requires her to move, tries to talk to him again about their relationship. Larson, however, brushes it off almost immediately, leading to the song Johnny Can't Decide, where he grapples with moving away with Susan, keeping his dream alive, and being lost in life. It's a jarring twist in tone, both musically and narratively, but a necessary one as the film moves from romanticizing the life of an artist to de-romanticizing it. John's spiral only continues from here. Immediately following the track, it's revealed that Freddie, who is Larson's friend and also HIV positive, has been hospitalized. Now Larson is clearly shaken by the news, but remains positive in the face of fear. He's certain his friend will pull through, giving the audience a quick sense of relief. However, Larson's mood quickly shifts to anxiety-ridden thoughts over going to see Freddie, continuing to write the final song for his rock opera Superbia, and revisiting his conversation with Susan over her work. His mind is going a mile a minute because he's unable to decide which pressing matter deserves the most attention. The ticking comes back, and you can almost feel the tightening in Larson's chest, the panic in his brain and rush of guilt, sadness, anger coming over him as he's apparently running out of time. It all happens at once, and this is when you truly realize Jonathan Larson is unhappy. It's not that the film didn't show that his life wasn't great before, but it's this moment right here where he truly feels the weight of the world on his shoulders and he can't lift it off. From here on out, nothing about Larson's journey to fame really feels that good. With each passing moment, you're asking yourself, is this all worth it?
Everyone's unhappy in New York! That's what New York is!
Slowly but surely, Jonathan Larson begins to lose himself in his work. He's ready to quit his job as a waiter at the Moondance Diner, he's ignoring Susan and continues to push her off, trying to talk about their future together, and he finds himself unable to make time for his best friend Michael, who looks to need Jonathan's advice on something important. But he's not there. He's trying to write the final song for Superbia. He's gearing up for his upcoming workshop. He's doing everything he thinks he needs to do to achieve this goal of being successful before 30. And it's all about to come crashing down on him.
What if the workshop happens and nothing changes? No producer with a big check. You don't go straight to Broadway.
At the start of Act 2, Susan leaves Jonathan because, as she says, he won't fight for their relationship. Then Jonathan embarrasses himself at the focus group that Michael got him into so that Jonathan could earn some more money. Now both of these moments are really well executed because they expertly show Jonathan's crazy view of this world. He feels as though he's destined to succeed, destined to become the future of musical theater, so much so that he loses sight of what's happening around him. Susan wants Jonathan to fight for them, but all he can think about is turning this somber moment into a song. He chastises Michael for giving up on his own artistic passions, saying that what he's doing is more important than Michael's day job. Now in a simpler, leaner story, the writer would probably have you side with the artist, in this case Jonathan, who's trying to make something of himself. But we recognize really quick that that's not real life, and the story has Michael rightfully call Jonathan out for his melodrama. Now Michael and John have a big fight around the midpoint of Act 2, where Michael confronts John about the privilege he carries in his life and how he scoffs at it. Larson is a straight white man who turns his nose up at those who live a quote-unquote normal life while he strives for something greater. Michael, who is gay, is fed up, saying that Larson should be more grateful for what he has, pointing out that Larson has someone who loves him, but he turns away from her, while Michael can't even get married or have children. It's a rude awakening for Larson, and frankly the audience. Larson and many protagonists before him have been positioned in a way where the audience must root for them at all costs. No matter the obstacles, a guy like Larson must prevail in the face of normal life, and we'll cheer every aspect of it. But again, that's not real life, and I commend the story for not sugarcoating Larson's journey. Rather, we empathize with his struggles, both as an artist, friend, and partner. We understand what he's going through and wish for him to succeed, but not at the expense of losing those around him. You want to just shake this dude and say, hey, you gotta calm down. Life is moving and you're missing it. I think enough time has passed where I need to mention again that I knew nothing about old Johnny Boy here before this film. I bring this up again because when I saw that after going through 2 emotional fistfights in which he lost, I was ecstatic to see that the next scene sees Larson taking Michael's words to heart. After a call with his agent letting him know that the workshop for Superbia will have a full house, Larson gets his life organized and sits down to write the show's final song. But again, here's where that lack of knowledge really hit me. It's the day of Larson's workshop where family, friends, and supporters have arrived to see his work come to life. The anxiety and anticipation are at an all-time high as the performance kicks off and Larson looks on, trying to fight his own exhaustion from writing the night before. And to my surprise, the workshop was a hit. The crowd was loving it, the songs were fantastic, and I thought to myself, this is it, this is the moment. Superbia's going to Broadway. This is where all that pain, suffering, and stress pays off. This is Jonathan Larson's moment. Until it wasn't. As the workshop ends, Larson sits in his apartment waiting for a phone call from his agent to see if anyone is interested in producing his show. The phone rings and it's revealed that the workshop was a hit and everyone loved it, but no one was willing to invest in its production.
What? What?
You want a true portrait of a de-romanticized journey of an artist? Look no further than this moment. 8 years. 8 years is how long Larson had been working on this musical, and within a split second, that dream was over. You'll again find yourself wondering, that work, was it even worth it? Larson feels as though the world has just ended, and with a face full of regret, he asks his agent,
So what am I supposed to do now?
You start writing the next one.
And right here comes the harsh truth of Larson's chosen profession. His agent says you start writing the next one. No one is going to hold your hand through this. The world is tough, life is unfair, but you need to keep going because this is your dream and nothing should stand in your way, right? Well, for Larson, this was a breaking point. He runs to Michael, complaining about how he's gotten nowhere, and with his 30th birthday approaching, he says again that he's running out of time. Michael attempts to reassure him that he must continue to pursue his passion, but when John accuses him of not understanding what it's like to be running out of time, Michael reveals that he is HIV positive.
What? How long have you known?
A few days.
And then it hits you. This moment is John's glass-shattering moment. It wasn't Susan leaving, it wasn't even Superbia not getting on Broadway. It's hearing that his best friend was just diagnosed with a disease that's going to eventually kill him. It's here where Larson finally grasps that his career obsession has cost him his relationship with Susan and jeopardized his friendship with Michael. While the film only shows a glimpse into the life that was Jonathan Larson, you get a real sense that he's pretty much thought of nothing other than making it on Broadway. He selfishly put his aspirations ahead of everyone and everything in his life, and here, at his lowest point, it feels as though the ticking clock is about to explode and there's nothing he can do about it. As Larson wanders New York alone, he finds himself at the Delacorte Theater in Central Park. Hopping a fence to a piano, Larson sings the song Why, which is my personal favorite track from the musical, where he reminisces about his friendship with Michael and the sacrifices he's made to even get this far. He heeds Michael's words, knowing that he can't give up now, but he also knows that he has to make a change. Larson finally understands that he's not on this journey alone, and he can't continue to shut himself off from the world in the spirit of creating art. I know it's cliche to say this, but this moment feels so human. As we see Larson come to his senses and realize that yes, he does have gifts, but none of it will mean anything if he can't celebrate life with the people he loves. After Larson reconciles with Michael, he returns home on his 30th birthday, where he begins writing the next one. He's found that spark again, but his face still says that something is holding him back. And then the phone rings, and for just the second time in the entire movie, it's not ringing for a negative reason. On the other end of that phone call is Steven freaking Sondheim himself, congratulating Larson on the workshop and wanting to talk to him more about Superbia. The look on Larson's face when he listens to Sondheim speaking, "For God's sakes, give Andrew Garfield this Oscar. This performance is incredible."
I may be spoken to her 5 times in my entire life. I say none of this.
Sondheim tells Larson that he should be proud of his work, and hearing that just makes you want to tear up right here.
Get back in there, tear.
At this point in the narrative, I was reminded of another film that went above and beyond in de-romanticizing a famous adventure, La La Land. The overarching message behind that film was, even though the road to becoming an artist is unforgiving, you just need that one person to notice you, that person in the crowd who sees what you see, the one who, without even saying a lot, gives you the motivation to keep going, to keep writing, to
hold on a second longer.
Because the world needs the fools who dream. The world needs Jonathan Larson. Larson's face in this moment is the face of a man who just found a new lifeline. It's not romanticized, it's reality. There are those who will believe in us. We just need to find them, whether they're right beside us or somewhere out there in the world. And so, Larson secured on the personal side of life and now the professional. He gets back to work and he writes the next one. Larson would not only go on to write Tick, Tick, Boom, but he returned to work on a previous project which eventually became Rent, the hit Broadway musical that ran for 12 years. Unfortunately though, Larson wouldn't get the chance to see his dreams realized, as he died of an undiagnosed aortic aneurysm the night before Rent began previews off-Broadway. He never experienced the success he desired, but his work lives on. It's a moment that truly sticks with you, knowing that Larson passed before seeing his dream of being the future of musical theater become a reality. We knew it was coming to this. Hell, they reveal it at the beginning of the movie, but it still feels wrong, unfair, angering, and sad, yet also real. We feel as though we've been on this journey with Larson, and even though his passing was untimely, it's reassuring to know that his work is beloved by so many, notably the director of this movie, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who was inspired by Larson from a young age. Everything about Larson is relatable in some way, and that's why, at the end of the day, we do root for him, empathize with him, understand his struggles, recognize his privilege, and hope that the ending of the film will change when we reach it. But it doesn't. And what we're left with is a beautiful portrait of a man who did the most with the time he was given. We're left with the idea that turning 30 isn't the end-all be-all for someone who wants to create. Jonathan Larson is an inspiration to all of us. And I hope he knows that. Hello, amazing YouTube community. Thanks so much for checking out my Tick, Tick, Boom video essay. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You can find me on Twitter at NickManakos, and I've been Nick Pulmanakos, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later, everyone.